What is going on, guys? Marc Guberti here. In this video, I want to talk about something that recently came my way. I saw an article detailing how the jig may be up for gig workers. And in that article, it explained how there's a lot of intense competition for a lot of these gigs now because the lockdown has cut a lot of jobs and people still need to make money. So you have more people turning to Instacart. You have more people turning into all these different gigs. And I'm a Udemy instructor. That's one of my sources of income. One of the things they have up in their dashboard, which they've never had before, they only had it a few months ago, was pretty much submit your courses a little earlier than usual because it's going to take us some extra time, around 6 days, to get through these courses. And I've been on Udemy long before the lockdown began, and I could tell you that you could go from submitting the course to getting it published in around 2 days. Now it's 6. And you can see this all across the board with all these different online income streams because that's the main option a lot of people have. And there are some people who are concerned about this extra competition because now some of the people who they've had their gigs and they've been doing this since before the lockdown, they have a lot more competition and there's a little bit of anxiety floating around in the marketplace. So that's what I want to talk about in this video. I have interviewed a lot of people on Breakthrough Success who they've told me their '08 or their '09 recession story and how some of them got completely wiped out, others got deep into debt, and then they recovered and they built up full-time incomes. So there are definitely going to be people who start their businesses and start getting into gigs because of the lockdown and build up to a full-time income. But that doesn't change the fact that there is a lot of competition, a lot of extra competition because of these circumstances. So one of the things to think about in this new space is to think about what gigs are you doing? So one of the things that I focus on for my brand is to be more than just a commodity. So I'll give an example. Fiverr. I get a lot of my logos there. I pay anywhere from $5 to $10 for a pretty good logo. Now, if someone decides to go up to $30, someone who I've been using for quite a while, if they decide to go up to $30 for a single logo, then I'm just going to find someone else who can provide a good logo for me at around $5 to $10. So that's what it means to be that commodity. You provide a good service, but you are also in a gig or in an environment that encourages this race to the bottom mentality to get volume of sales, which may be hard for you to keep up with, or it may not give you the best bang for your buck. So you want to make sure that you're in gigs that have the potential for full-time income. That's one of the reasons why I don't advocate for things like Instacart, things like that, for people who do them. And it is a good side income for some people. But when I do something like a self-publishing or an online courses, it's because there are stories of people who have made 6 and 7 figures through that income stream. So I only pursue income streams that give you that type of potential. And you can make money through some of the other gig options, but in this race to the bottom mentality, which a lot of these are based on, you could see a really low hourly rate. You could feel like, I know there are a lot of Uber drivers before the pandemic, because I was doing some research, where they feel like they have to work 70 hours a week just to get by, and they know they can't take a single week off from what they're doing with Uber. And that doesn't even include maintenance expenses for the cars or if there's some type of accident. So it's really important, first off, to pick a gig that has 6-figure potential, that has 7-figure potential. Because if you're picking something that it's solely based on the amount of hours you're working, you are putting yourself in a bad spot. The other thing to do is, again, I mentioned this earlier, don't like go beyond that commodity stage. There are some people who they are watching this video for the first time. This is their introduction to my channel. And if they don't like this video and they stop watching and they go somewhere else, fine. But there are people who they will watch the video because it's me, or they will read my book because my name is on it. I wrote it. And that is what power you can have when you go about building a platform. Building a platform, getting the audience, whether it's you're growing on YouTube, you're getting the Instagram followers, you're using the books to grow your email list. That's what's going to, like, there will be competition, but you can make six figures. There is a bigger pie available compared to some of the other income stream options, the other gigs that may not produce a high hourly rate. And you either have to work a little bit to barely get by and a little bit, like 40 hours a week, or to get slightly a little better than normal, you'd have to work like 70 hours a week. So it's very important to pick gigs where you're not a commodity, you're not replaceable. If you couldn't do any of your gigs or any of your work, there should be a bunch of people who should miss you for that work, the service that you provide, the products that you create. If you don't feel like people would miss you if you left, then that is a sign you have to reinvent yourself and go after some of the more proven gigs. So there definitely is a lot more competition in the online world now, and this is a really great time to do a self-reflection and figure out where you are with your gigs. Are you pursuing the ones that have the most income potential, or are you going for the ones that maybe they have an easy barrier to entry, but over the long term, these are not necessarily the gigs that are going to produce a full-time income? Now, I know there are some people watching this video who are in a bit more of a financially stressful situation in which any money you can get is good. And my recommendation for those people is definitely do whatever gigs you have to do to make enough, but also expand your horizons and look for those income streams. I mentioned books, training courses, also coaching that can give you that 6 to 7 figure income stream in its own right. And that's going to be the thing you want to build up in the long term. And when you have that right focus, when you are building out your platform, being someone who people would miss if you went away, missed from like the work and the service and the product standpoint, then you are on your way to thriving, even in an increasingly competitive marketplace. If you guys want to learn more about building your own platform, growing your audience, making money through your content, I do recommend scheduling a strategy call with me. This is something I do coach people on. If you guys are interested, we will be throwing that link in the show notes. Anyways, I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.